And we are now live. To recap NHK Trophy, I will just tell everyone we're live.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who's joining us this week. As you can see, we are a small team. It's just me and Lois. So
And the
sadly, we
ghost of
don't have,
Sarah is around as
and the
well.
ghost of Sarah, yes. And various pets in the background, but sadly no guest this week, but we will have I keep saying I'm very excited for the guests that we're having in the future. We had to do some switching around for this week. So this may be a short episode unless we yap a lot at each other, but yeah, we may be a little more efficient.
If you are very communicative in the chat, we can talk to you all more this week because we don't have a guest to entertain.
I also feel like NHK, all of it feels a little bit like it was a dream because I was kept watching it, like waking up, thinking I wasn't going to watch any of it live, happening to wake up at 3 a.m., deciding I'd watch some, starting to fall back asleep while watching some, then having dreams that I was watching more of it, and then waking up and then being like, wait, which of that actually happened and which of it was a dream?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it all felt a little hazy.
I always tend to sleep late or early if you consider the fact that I don't usually go to sleep until like 4 o'clock in the morning. So I was like watching some of Dance. I saw none of Pairs live because that was like right in the sweet spot of where I'm asleep. And then I would get up and like sometimes men would be on, and then I'd watch most of the women. So I've gone back and watched some stuff. I've seen most of everything, but you forget what you've seen and what you haven't seen.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. It's always appreciate when you tune in when it's just us.
I said, exactly, Anna. I really thought I dreamed that low score for the ships at first. Oh my god.
Wow. Daniel says, I'm crazy. I watched it all live, 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m.
Oh my
That is some
god.
dedication. I'm very impressed with that.
I usually only dedicate stuff like that for the Olympics. Luckily, that won't be necessary this time because we're in Italy, so that's my time zone for once. Okay, so
Yes.
we will start with dance. And gold we have Lila Fear and Lewis Gibson. Silver we have Charlene Greenard and Marco February. And bronze we have Caroline Green and Michael Parsons.
Yeah. So this was an interesting week because I kept ignoring the top of the podium for a moment. I had so many feelings about various teams where I was like, I have to sacrifice one of my favorites for the other one to succeed. And so it was very painful for me, the battle between Caroline and Michael and the Toshlers for the bronze, because I really wanted it for both of them. And
Yeah.
I think, it bigger picture, it makes more of a difference for Caroline and Michael, probably in terms of
Yeah.
what a Grand Prix means. But I was that was the what area where I was like, I'll be upset. I've kind of already written off being upset about various shenanigans that are happening at the top of the podium. So I was feeling invested in my bronze medalists here.
See, I keep telling myself I'm not going to be invested about the top of the podiums and the upper echelon of ice dance anymore. I very much said that last week. Um, Obviously, I expected Lila and Lewis to win this battle, especially after what happened in France. I was somewhat contented by the fact that Charlene and Marco won skating skills in the PCS. I was like, oh, there is still hope in the world. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, at least like gold and silver was very predictable.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I keep going back and forth in my feelings about this free dance for Marco and Charlene. I actually quite like the music. It was stuck in my head for like a day afterwards, which I for something a song that I had no context for prior to this free skate is not bad. Um, as I was watching it, I was really thinking that where I wish they would take a little bit of a leaf from the other skaters' book is to put their crescendo dramatic moments a little bit more in the vein of what some other teams do and make them just really obvious, really easy to cheer for. Not take any of the complexity out of any of the things that they're doing that are their brilliant skating, but like maybe it's just because I'm biased against the kind of layback position in lifts where then you can't see the woman's face, but it always feels weirdly underwhelming to me. I'm like, I want to see Charlene's expression in that highlight moment. So that's my
Yeah.
nitpick of the like backseat coaching of how to try to get Charlene and Marco better scores.
I don't know if there's any hope trying to get them better scores at this point, but I do like this free dance. I don't think it's like something that people are going to necessarily talk about years down the line, but it fits them. And I like saw some like people wondering why they haven't done something like more classically Italian. I'm like, yeah, that would have been an option, but it would have been a very obvious choice. It is still Italian, so like I think this plays into the goal of the season perfectly. But yeah,
And like the lyrics are telling like a very nice kind of message, and I don't know, like it felt like I felt their commitment to it in a way that I thought, great, like yes, this go for it. I wanted it. It nonetheless feels kind of subdued, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like I like things that have, that rewards the subtlety and not just the like most obvious thing. I just wanted it to have, a couple of those moments where you're like, this is the picture that we're going to take of this free dance. This is the pose
yeah.
moment that you're striking, to be a little bit more posing.
Yeah, and they've had that in the past. Like I think prior to the robots, I remember the like the final lift they had in that free dance the year before, and where her dress got caught in like the world.
Oh, yeah.
But that was such a lovely like positioning they had for that move, and like Atonement was a lovely program for them as
Yes,
well. It like so it's not necessarily as like enrapturing as those programs were.
totally. Um, I wish also, yes, I agree with Lara Mackie Goatman in our comments here that wish they went Italian with the rhythm dance. I don't know what Italian 90s music would be, but I would be excited to find out.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. But yeah, for Lila and Lewis, this program is definitely growing on me. If I think I'm going to enjoy it live. I think I'm going to enjoy it when I can watch it just as an entertaining program. When I was watching it with the score boxes, I kept being really distracted by the fact that Lila kept getting level 3s and Lewis level 2s in lots of their elements. And that just was like, this is weird. Do I understand nothing about ice dance judging? I mean, I do understand nothing about ice dance judging, but it also kept
Yeah.
striking me as really as odd as I was watching that. So I think, if I ignore the technical side, then I appreciate their programs more. And so like I do really love the opening stationary lift that they have with Lila above Lewis's head. Like it works so well. And it's one of those moments where it's like, oh yeah, I see his arms are bent. Yeah, this counts. But like also she is way over his head. So pushing the envelope a little bit, which I
I
like.
did see some people wondering how that lift was legal, and like I think just they are just ever so slightly bent. If as long as
It's
you're
like,
like yeah, as long as you're not straight up in the air, you get away with it. I think it's still a bit more subtle than what Maddie and Zach were doing in the Olympic year, which was very much almost straight. Um, But yeah, this is very funny that like the ISU account making a video asking Lewis to wear a kilt. Like your rules literally prevent him wearing a kilt. They literally say that they have to wear trousers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Like K-Weaves may have said that he could, but I'm pretty sure the rules say he can't.
I'm gonna look this up because I'm invested
Yeah,
in the
I feel
answer
like
to
they
this
don't. I
question,
feel
not
like they
just because
don't.
I want him. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be great if he did. I just feel like it says trousers for the man, but I don't know.
There's definitely rules about not wearing tights. I don't know if that would go into not wearing a kilt. I know it would be like questioning whether oh yeah, I appreciate this. So like Lucy Quill said, if he wore skin color tight trousers and then a kilt on top. I don't know if that would work. It did occur to me, like, what if he wore shorts with a kilt on top? Like, I know all of this is like very anti, like the spirit of wearing a kilt, but also he would have to wear something under the kilt no
He
matter
does have to wear
what. So
something.
like,
Yes, he can't go
what if he
traditional
was
kilt.
wearing like, shorts with a kilt on top, or like a half kilt, or like I just like it.
Yeah.
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 But I did enjoy the ISU's social media asking all of the other skaters if he should wear a kilt, especially Yuka not knowing what a kilt was, which was also very funny to me.
Oh no. Oh my god. A skort.
Yes.
A skort might work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
feels
just
like
know
this is
that
appropriate for the like whole like when, okay, so I think everybody should just be able to wear whatever they want, and the rules are kind of silly to begin with. But you know how they used to have the rules that it was women could wear pants in the rhythm dance if it was like, fitting with the style of
it was hip hop, yeah.
the rhythm or whatever. Yeah. So it's like maybe that's the like, exception. If it's like if you are wearing culturally appropriate clothing that requires you to be wearing this thing, then you should be. Yeah.
Yeah. I just know that program is gonna go so hard at Europeans. So that is gonna be interesting. Like obviously there's very different dancing styles between them and who are probably the favourites to win Europeans at this point, which is Fiona Baudry and Cesaron. That is a very mellow, slow free dance, and this is a very up tempo, like cultural free dance. So I'm very interested to see how the audience reaction is between those two different dances, and if it affects the scores.
It's going to be interesting for sure. Going back to Michael and Caroline, was really happy to see them do so well here, and I am really enjoying this free dance. I think I still liked last year's better in terms of the overall arc of the program, but and am I losing my mind, or is there a little bit of Hosier in the middle of this
I think there
rhythm
is,
dance?
yeah.
Okay.
I think there is.
Because I was so excited because I was like, ooh, this is gonna go into like something from the latest Hosier album. Like that would be so cool. People don't like, because as I, listen to the more concept album Hosier things, I'm like, oh, this would be so interesting if somebody actually made a rhythm. Like, yet again, me coming up with ideas for the programs that I wish people were skating to.
Yeah.
I was like, free idea there, somebody. But I did really like this program though, and there's so many moments in it that are really interesting and unique. I think even just like the positions that they're at in their opening spin are so interesting. Like, so when I see that, and then I see some of the other programs where it feels like everyone is kind of doing a very they're kind of taking the easy way through a lot of what are maybe more obvious poses and things. And I'm just like, how do we give more points to people who are actually innovating in terms of the like movement and the shapes and the things that they're putting into the program? Like that feels like it should be more valued than it is.
Yeah. I also think their costumes for the free dance are so gorgeous. Like, just the detailing on them is really nice. I apologize if I ever have to go mute. Occasionally the rain kicks off, and it was so bad just then that I muted myself. But I'm trying my best to deal with it. Should we talk? I was going to say, should we
Go
talk
ahead.
about the Shibatanis?
Yes.
I feel like I kind of duped people with fantasy this week by putting the Shibatanis in Group 1. And I think a fair few people picked them, and I never thought they were going to be up there based on the fact that they've been gone for 7 years and not done any challenges. So, yeah, I don't actually mind the rhythm dance. I thought when I saw the list of music and there were like 7 pieces of music, it was going to be rough, but it was more cohesive than say like how Choc and Bates rhythm dance started last year, which was just manic. Like everything kind of flowed quite well and was edited quite well. They just couldn't really keep the pace to it. They just weren't trained enough for it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually really enjoyed that free dance. I thought that, and there are some things about their skating and the way that they move together and their like the total confidence that they have in each other that like I could see, even though they are not as trained and are not as ready to do these elements, that like you can tell that like, okay, people who have been skating together their whole lives and have a certain like basic vocabulary of movement to fall back on, like I could see that showing up in some ways. And actually kind of I thought the style was really fun, and the idea of like the sort of DDR, like it made the mashup make more sense to me in a way. So like you know I was fine with it. I think I'm also fine with where their scores put them in this field. Which is
Yep.
it's harsh, but it seemed fair.
Yeah. Agreed. It is interesting to see the scores in general in that like say like last week Bratty Somerville and Nesset Markelov both did not score that well, and Wolfkostin and Sorevsky scored pretty well here. It's interesting to see kind of like shifting going on in the hierarchy of USI stance.
The Wolfkost and Sorevsky's doing this well here did shock me a bit. I mean, I know that they're a team that judges have liked, but still coming like first year senior to be the top of the US teams here is definitely, and to be in that second group, like I was like very surprised. I mean, I think they look strong. They have good, like they program seem to suit them, like all of the things, and that usually isn't enough to get you that
Yeah.
boost, especially when we've been saying that other teams that are coming from MIDA are not getting a political boost right now. So that's an
Yeah.
interesting, yeah.
And especially like I do think the free dance, like obviously Kill Bill themed, I didn't necessarily think when I saw them announce it that it was going to be a good concept for them, but it's a good program. I did think they were a little bit messy, so I was a little bit surprised with how highly it was scored.
Yeah.
But yeah, different panels, different judging.
Yeah, it'll
If
be
they'd have been there
interesting to
last
see
week, it
if
probably wouldn't have been as high.
would this have yeah, exactly within
Yeah.
the fields and where people land. Yeah, and this is their only Grand Prix, is it?
I
Or they have
think so.
another one?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think this is their only one because there were so many US dance teams that there were not enough spots for everyone. Yeah, Melissa says here, did a brief deep dive into regulations. iSure 501 says men must wear full length trousers for ice dance. Exceptions to the restrictions may be announced by the technical committee. So yeah, you can't wear a kilt unless they change the rules. And they have changed the rules for Lila and Lewis before. I think it was like regarding like touching the boards or something that like they started doing that and then they suddenly added it in that like people were allowed to do that or whatever. So if they wanted to make an addendum, they could.
All right. Well, we know that Caitlin is on a mission to get, various like homophobic gender restrictions removed from ice dance. So maybe by the time, maybe this will happen. But yeah.
Interesting from Jonathan. I feel like for the middle tier Europeans, the Chashlers and Jenny Benji, the score position is definitely determined in advance, no matter how well they skate on the day. What I've always found interesting about I always call them Jen and Ben because I think it's great that their names rhyme. That they always score higher at like non ISU big competitions, so like senior Bs, than they do when they go to like Grand Prix and stuff. Like they'll put their scores at like Bavarian Open, obviously it's a German competition, will be astronomical compared to what they will get elsewhere. Just like probably like Ignateva Zemko will get a huge score at like Budapest Trophy compared to like somewhere else. Like they're pretty dependable. They're never going to be the team with like the best skating skills in the competition, but like I always think he's underrated for how good he is at lifts. He's a very good lifter.
I was really happy to see that though that they are, I think, getting better scores in. I think last year they started to rise a little bit, and it seems like this year as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them make movement over the course of this season, just because it seems like what they're doing lands kind of often in the middle of a bunch of younger teams and they come out and they look so strong and they look like adults in a good way sometimes, that I feel like it really makes them land like in that middle European pack in a kind of, they feel different. And I think this free dance is a really good vehicle for them. Sometimes I think because of the galas that they've had and some of the programs that they've had, they sometimes have come off as a little bit like cheesy to me. And then, but I think that when they do these programs that are more like going into the intensity, it suits them well.
Yeah, agreed.
It's funny how many teams, though, like we have so many, and I know that I promised I would learn the difference between a flamenco and a paso doble, and I cannot say that I have successfully managed that challenge yet, but I am really noticing how many, variations of Latin theme programs that we are getting. And it's interesting. And it's like, are the people craving a pattern dance? Is that what's happening here? Or just
yes,
that there's always some version of that, but
definitely.
Yeah.
Daniel said here, both of the teams were sloppy. Tasha's program doesn't work, and the Germans were probably struggling with the travel. I agree with the struggling with the travel with back-to-backs. I am of two minds about Tasha's. I do think the program is a good vehicle for them. I just don't think they are up to speed with it yet. It is so intricate and so complex that they are struggling to keep up. It was interesting to see that the judges rewarded them most with the composition mark. So the judges like the program, they just don't think they're skating it very well at this point. So.
It's really interesting to see that, usually they've had struggled with the rhythm dance and had
the other way around, yeah.
free skates, and this year it feels a little the other way around. And I was really interested in Mark's comment when they were skating that when they were with Zani, he's known for producing skaters that skate very fast and strong, but not necessarily with the greatest precision. Now he's with a coach that might be better at teaching the precision and the complexity. But does that mean that they're kind of like still in a process of adjusting styles? And so, I thought that was an interesting comment, and viewing their free dance in that light made some sense to me. It doesn't have that same sense of just like speed and freedom, which is kind of unfortunate because that would work really well with a matrix program.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess you'd consider the fact that it's taken David Smolkin a couple of years to really adjust to going to Montreal. And I like before they got there, their lifts were scary sometimes. Like it looked like they were going to fall, and obviously that's ironed out. And sometimes Diana would fall on like twizzles and stuff, and that's ironed out. So you just got to kind of wait and see. Like it's not an overnight change when you go to a new coaching places. You've got to put in the work and see how it goes.
Yeah, totally. That makes a lot of sense. And I'm really hoping to see how to see how this grows over the course of the season. I also say that I think that they have one of the best rhythm dances of this season. And I know a lot of people think that it's not appropriate for a sibling team. It's like it's too sexy. I never feel that way with the Toshlers because I never feel like they're trying to fake that it's being too sexy. It feels like they are like out at a club having fun. Like it doesn't feel like they're like there's like a I always have that feeling with them that yeah, so I would say that it never lands on the wrong side of that line for me. But I also really appreciate that they have a slower middle section. And so far they've been kind of like, no one's told them, get rid of that. It's not
to get rid of
upbeat
it.
enough, but like it gives a little bit of rise and fall to the program, and that lets the final elements and the sort of like speed to the finish actually have some boom to it. And without any variation, it's hard to like actually do the like get the crowd excited and on their feet if you're trying to have them there the whole program. So I appreciate
that. Messenger saying, did the Tetris announce if they will continue skating past this year? I don't think they have. I feel like you wouldn't make a coaching change just for 1 year. That seems like a big move just for 1 year. I hope they continue because I love them as a team and I want them to continue to get better and rise through the ranks. I don't know if the judges will ever entirely go with them, but I hope that they do.
It feels like they still have a lot of room to improve, to grow, to show us new things, and hopefully there will be a little bit more room at the top of the certainly in Europe, we would hope. But I'm also biased and I like them, but they seem to be, again, I would say from one day of hanging out and watching their training, they seem to be, enjoying where they are and in a good place. So hopefully, that would be that both they and Pirahara keep going. And can continue to, be good training mates for each other with the younger teams that are coming up in Finland would be like, it seems like that would be a good environment to be in. And so hopefully that would, help them feel good to continue training.
Yeah. Should we talk about I feel like the team that went the most viral was Pirahara with the Moulin Rouge free dance. Because I missed them at the time because I was like popping in and out, and I was like, I'm not gonna watch things live. I'm gonna go to bed, and then I was watching things on my phone anyway, so I kind of missed them. But I went back and watched them, and I saw that choreo step like all over Twitter. Usually, that's the kind of thing I don't like in ice dance, like the gimmicky rolling around on the ice kind of thing. But they're so fun that I let them get away with it.
It is, yeah. It's so ridiculous. That whole program is just so over the top and fun that yeah, exactly. I feel like all of my usual rules about what I like in ice dance go right out, and in programs in general go right out the window with them. So I'm willing to give them all of the credit for being being themselves and being, well, just fun. I also was sorry to see that they had such a rough rhythm dance, because I think that in its composition, I actually like their Spice Girls program a lot better than Lila and Lewis's. And I think it was tight here. It was not like a great performance of this program, but I think in theory, it has the ability to be a really, really good rhythm dance for them. So,
yeah.
And also shout out to Yuho for painting his nails for it this time.
Yeah, I think if you skate that clean, that's another team that probably would have been ahead of the Shibutanis.
Yeah,
so they would have been even lower than they were. There's a funny comment here. Oh yeah, from Film Geek, bronze medalist Pirahara, my beloved. Like there was on X, formerly Twitter, because like I think it's Grok making up like headlines. Like if you go into like the search tab or whatever, there was literally a headline that said that Pirahara went and won bronze. And I was like, excuse you? Don't think that happened. But in our hearts, maybe.
Yeah, I had a really hard time, like, with, as I was saying, like, the similarly between, wishing the best for both Caroline and Michael and the Toshlers. I was having a similar, feeling between Utana Masaya and Pirahara, because I was like, oh no, if for one of you to rise, the other one must fall. Like, it was very, it was a sort of a sad moment. I do really love this team. That, speaking of the Japanese team, and I clearly they're not having the best season and seems to be struggling to figure out what program approach to go with. And I didn't think their Turndo program was working, but I also think that I'm not sure going back to this program was working either. And so it's tough. I thought the Romeo and Juliet that they had last year was such a wonderful program, and I would love to see them. I would love to see them be able to continue on an upward trajectory, because I think they have so much potential, and it's a shame to see them struggling and struggling in front of with such odd mistakes in this at the home event.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be like a lock for the team event and for the Olympics. I don't know if they necessarily are anymore. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens when Koshiro and Akira go to Golden Spin and what kind of scores that brings, and if that is going to be a potential option instead.
Speaking of painful things for my heart, I'm like, I don't want that fall to happen for Utana Messiah. That would be a pretty tough disappointment. And I also want Koshiro at the Olympics so badly. So why can't everyone have nice things?
Why can't everyone go? Yeah. It's interesting to see how little the battle has become for the third spot for Canada, because I feel like Loyola Gak are pretty much a lock at this point, because it feels like Fabri Air have been dropped.
Which is such a shame, because they, especially as they were where they were placed among the other teams here, their quality of their skating skills, even watching on TV, it was so apparent how much stronger they were than quite a few of the other teams in the first group. And that was not reflected in their scores.
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, I feel like this free dance goes along the same kind of line of when they did I always get that. Someone You Loved. I always want to say Somebody to Love, and I know that's Queen. Someone You Loved. It kind of goes along the same kind of like melancholy kind of slow vibe. I don't know how I feel about it being choreographed by Zach Donahue at this point, but yeah, I feel like at this point you could easily just go back to Someone You Loved, and it would be more effective than this kind of slightly worse version of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think we've covered everyone in my
yes. I know. I feel like I said we were going to talk less, and here we are, 37 minutes in, and we've only done ice dance.
I know, yeah. We've covered everyone.
Had lots of ice dance opinions.
Yes. And now we have pairs opinions.
Yes. So for pairs, we have Sara Conti and Nicolo Macchi with the gold, Maria Pavlova and Alexei Sviatchenko with silver, and Wen Jingsui and Song Han with the bronze.
And a little bit of movement from like the short program to the.
Yeah. This was a really interesting event to watch. I feel like many people. Oh no, Lois is frozen. Okay, hopefully we're not talking over each other, but I'm gonna keep talking until Lois comes back. But yeah, I feel like many people.
Well, like have all the tools.
Okay. Interesting. Oh, Lois is back. Maybe. I was very sorry. Sorry. Like many people, I was watching the lifts and trying to see what was going on with Sui and Han here, and they fixed it. Yay, Lois, are you back?
I am back. Yes.
Amazing. Okay.
I was here and it was still spinning. I'm like, why is it still spinning? I'm here.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. We are back. So Sui and Han's lifts. I was very happy to see that they did make the fix, as far as I can tell.
Yes.
Experts, please tell us if this is right, but it seems
I
like
don't think it was
their
the
reverse
best.
lift. Yeah.
It wasn't the
I'm not
best.
saying it was the best
But he did
quality
have
lift, but it seemed
he
like
did have his arm up.
he like checked the box of what you need to have it
Yes.
be a group 5 lift. So I was really I was relieved to see that, because if it hadn't and they weren't getting called, then I was, ready to start the petition. But
100%.
instead, I'm happy. I feel like I'm much happier to be able to actually cheer for them than to feel like they're getting boosted. I still feel like they're getting boosted, especially in this free skate, above where the skating is showing on the day. But
Yeah.
it's improving. There's still a
Yeah.
scary lift. There's still not the skating
was
skills and
terrifying.
performance that we want from them. It's getting
I'm
better.
also not in love
Yeah.
with that free skate in general. And maybe
No.
it will feel better when it's performed better, but it doesn't feel effective. It feels just kind of monotonous and like it's going through the motions. And that's not what you want from a team also that haven't had a lot of training.
And it's not a Lori program either. And if I think that is not good. I was okay with them being where they were after the short. And I did think that in a world with no reputation scoring, though, they would have they should have been 4th overall, and that we would have seen the Japanese team get on the podium. That was where the free skate was. But I think that if there wasn't, if they were another team, the GOEs and the PCS that they got would not have been enough to have put them onto the podium.
Yeah. Yeah, that lift was scary in the free skate. Like if they want to do that lift in the free, they as somebody said that they need to move it.
It was that program still looks rough. And again, still not that many run throughs, but I feel like when it looks as rough as it does, they shouldn't be getting the PCS scores that they're getting. But as I saw several people put in here, Unisumi Grand Prix medalists next season, they seem so strong. And just incredible how much they've improved. I want to give them so much credit for being able to manage their side-by-sides and keep that piece of what they kind of brought into their partnership while still developing the pair elements. That's a huge accomplishment. And if they can get their throws consistent, they really do belong right up there in the top group of the world pairs.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, I enjoy their costumes and their free skate. Again, I was watching with my parents, and my mom was calling them the elves. She was like, "I want the elves to be on the podium." I was like, I could see it.
Yeah. I agree with Film Geek. Maria and Alexa have such good packaging this year. I'm so glad they ditched the gimmicky programs. See, I quite liked the gimmicky programs in a way, but it's shocking how good they look with the packaging this year. I like when I saw these programs listed music-wise, I didn't think they were going to be that good, but they look so calm and settled, and their PCS have improved so much. Like they've really brought themselves up to like the upper tier of teams now.
And hopefully this will let them, this will let them grow. They're it's sort of like the rite of passage is what I said the last time that we were talking about them, but it feels like they've kind of checked the box, showed the judges that they could do what the judges have been asking them for, and the judges are kind of rewarding them for doing that and not being a little, I think, that some of the things that they had said before came across as a little arrogant. Not saying that that was, justified necessarily, but that they were a little like, we don't get why our scores are the way they are. We feel like we should be getting higher, PCS. It's like, it felt a little like the judges were like, well, not until you do what we want you to do. And now they are. And so it's a little bit like having them kind of check off the box of being the kind of pair team that gets the PCS, but they are genuinely showing that they can be, doing the skating as one kind of criteria. And it's like, having done that, they could in the future go funkier again if they wanted to, and probably not lose out as much by doing it.
Yeah. I'm so excited to see where Unisumi go in the next quad. I feel like they are just like breaking out and getting more consistent, and getting rid of the things that make them kind of a volatile team. But like, there's so many good aspects to their skating, and she's not been doing pairs for very long, so like the sky's the limit of how much they can progress, and they're still very young.
Yeah. I was thinking about their NHK, I want to say last year, where they had a really rough outing. And, it looked like, here they have this opportunity to be this, the second team and to take these spots. And it was kind of falling apart. And to then see them have made all of this progress, I think it's really great. I'd love to know more about how they're managing their training in terms of like where they're training and how much, and with different coaches, and how they're managing that, because I know that was a bit of what was challenging for them with training with Bruno. Also was the not having the consistent training and kind of going back and forth between Japan and Canada. And so I'm curious how they're managing that with this coaching team. But it does seem like Savin and Klimov have a really good system worked out for working, partly remotely with teams, and they seem to manage that very well. So maybe they're kind of, benefiting from the systems that they've been able to work out with others who are training in multiple locations.
Yeah. I think it's interesting
Really
to see.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, interesting to see how Efimov and Mitranov, they haven't quite reached the level they got to last season. It all feels a little bit shakier this year. I don't know if that's how the Olympics are still up in the air, apparently, or if it's just. I mean, jumping has never been Elisa's strong suit, so it's always going to be hit and miss on the day whether she manages that. It doesn't feel like these programs have clicked like last year's have, though.
No, I thought last year's program, especially that free skate, really had a magic to them. And for all of the, wonderful marketing and packaging that they're putting into the narrative around this year, the program just doesn't land for me. Maybe because I don't have the nostalgia around seeing the Love Story program, but it just, in its essence, I don't have that feeling. It does have a very beautiful choreographic lift, though, so I want to give them credit for the moment that I actually rewound to watch a second time, which was the where she's sort of doing the standing above him, and then sort of falls down into his arms on, like, in an emotional moment. I was like, I love that, and partly just because I really want more teams to be doing choreographic sequences that are not just a trick, but that are actually trying to progress the emotion and the storytelling of the program.
Yeah.
And that is something that I feel like a lot of pair teams are not necessarily doing with that opportunity. So I was happy to see them do something that was both kind of, technically interesting, but more so like choreographically interesting.
Yeah. I
And
also
thank you,
don't
Miriam,
like.
for putting in the chat. Yeah. Sorry, I know we're jumping all around on different teams, but yeah. I thank you for sharing that about Unasumi. That part of the reason they moved to 7 is they saw how well he was managing to do remote coaching with Hassan Volodin. So that's good to know. Thanks.
Yeah. There's something also about that vocal of Love Story that I don't like either. I feel like the versions that we usually hear are more cohesive, and it just they've had some issues with like picking vocals of programs that don't necessarily, they're not easy on the ear. Which was kind of a problem last year as well. Even though the programs were really good last year, the vocals of the programs were not the best.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they
I
were,
would. Go ahead.
I was going to say they were solidly ahead of Chan Hao at this competition. I mean, there's a fair gap. We'll see how they do handling a back-to-back this week. Now they are doing Skate America. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't think they're going to get the citizenship sorted for Elisa in time. It's just my opinion. If they do, it might be a closer battle than we would expect.
I mean, I'm kind of excited about right now. It feels all quite like it's anyone's game still, in the sense that like the who are the favorites has already shifted, it feels like several times this season alone.
Yes.
So I mean, both in terms of how people are skating and how we might speculate about USFS's favoritism. But I do feel like while Chan and Hao look much better than they did last year, they don't look as good as they did in, like, let's say, the 22-23 season, which
Yeah.
is a hard comparison for me because they're skating to their programs from that season.
Yeah.
And when they had the Four Continents medal and were getting free skates in like 140, and it was like that was a team that had more flow and confidence than they have right now. And so it'll be interesting to see how they get it. But that's one that I'm very interested to watch. I'm going to be at Skate America in person, so I'm really interested to see how they look in person and try to make a better comparison there.
Yeah. I also have said this many a time, but I hate Ghost the Musical. I suffered through so many of those programs this season. Like, why? Why is there another one?
Agreed.
Interesting comment for Jonathan here. Like, Dan Lover is so much better than Siva. I can't see the pairing lasting beyond this season. He just doesn't get better season to season. He has a history. I'm pretty sure the reason why he stopped doing singles in the first place was like a knee or a leg issue. So the jumps are always going to be iffy. Obviously, he's also had a shoulder problem this season as well, which affected the training for lifts. But Daria didn't used to be the most consistent skater either. She's just improved a lot over the last few seasons, and there are a couple off the ice as well. So it would be very difficult for her to get another partner. Like Netherlands virtually have no skaters, they have no men. So like they would have to maybe import somebody else, and then that person would have to try and get citizenship. It would be a whole big deal unless she switched countries. I mean, if their partnership is not long for this world, I'm not sure if we would see Daria move on to another partner. I feel like they might just go together if they do end their partnership.
Yeah, I don't see them going back to another going to have another partner. I really, really hope that they can pull it together though, because
I know.
their Olympic criteria is just super unfair.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Once you've earned your spot, you should have earned your spot. It's crazy. Yeah. I hate extra rules like that. Like when the Swedish Federation was putting extra rules on Josephine to have reached like the score of the 8th place last time. I'm just, why? They've earned their spot. Just let them go. As something you said, I felt so bad for Cami and Pavel.
Yes.
The broadcaster showed her injury on the replay twice. I skipped around, so I didn't see the replay. I did watch the injury. That's it. Like if somebody's injured, just don't show it. Just move on. It's just not necessary. I think there was another smaller competition that did that recently when there was a dance team who had a terrible fall, and they were showing like replays on the screen in the arena. It was like traumatizing photographers as well as the crowd. It's not necessary. Like if something happens, don't do it.
Yeah, it's just painful for everybody to watch, and definitely really feel for them. That's shoulder dislocations are it's so hard because once you have it, then you're vulnerable to it, and it's and they've been I was like, they looked like they were on such a good track this year, so I really hope that it's not too severe this time. But
yeah, it makes me worried about the future of pairs for this season, because we might not have Daria and Michelle there if they can't get that score. The Kovalevs are supposed to pick up the Uzbekistan spot that is supposed to open up. So if the Kovalevs aren't healthy, then I guess another French team would have to go instead. It feels like things are spiraling out of control, like several months before the Olympics. It's not great. Also, I was discussing with Sarah. I think it was last night. It's been a while since we've had like an on ice retirement, like that people have had like such a bad injury that they've had to stop the program and either be taken off the ice or walk off the ice themselves. I think the last one might have been Ashley and Tim after the Olympics, which was so painful to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, it is rough. At least in this case, it was very clear right away what the issue was and what they needed to do. But yeah, it's
like, why was the music playing for so long? Like, it just seems
they have rules around
like
when they can stop things and what the interruptions are, and like going over to the referee. Like, I get that there are some of those things, but yeah.
If you can clearly see that someone is not going to be able to continue, which it's not like she was gonna. For a second it looked like she was going over there. They're going to try and pop her shoulder back in. Like, she's not. That's not happening. You're going to pop her shoulder back in and continue with the skate.
Yeah. I mean, Adam Rippon did once, but yeah. I don't think you could do that in pairs. Just gonna say.
No, exactly. With like, I just can't imagine, especially considering Camille is not the most reliable when it comes to throws. You don't need to be then falling on a throw after you dislocated your shoulder.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, death spiral, like a whole thing. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Mariah said, will France participate in the team event at the Olympics? They will be one of the teams that qualifies. Obviously, currently a pairs team has not qualified, but they should be earning that spot from Uzbekistan no longer having a team. We all assumed it would be the Kovalevs, but it may not be if they are not healthy enough by that point.
Yeah. No, it's a rough thing. Anyway, hoping that she can heal.
Yeah. It's so rough.
We didn't say anything about Sarah and Nickel. I was just gonna say, like, at the our gold medalists here, well deserved. They look good. They look sharp. I mean, it wasn't perfectly clean here, but I feel like they're on a good trajectory.
Yeah, it's like, they have the ability to do it. It's just a case of getting all the little timing issues or whatever it is just sorted out. They have all the pieces to be one of the top competitive teams this season. I guess we should move on. On to the men. At gold we have Yuma Kageyama, silver we have Shun Sato, and bronze we have Lucas Bridgky. Interesting with the podium, because I think Shun probably deserved to win this one, just based on how slightly messy Yuma was. It doesn't really matter either way, because obviously Shun's still going to qualify for the final. But yeah, it's interesting to see how scoring goes in terms of like when mistakes happen.
Yeah, it's a tough thing with looking at this because, I think you could measure, okay, so on the technical side, Shun was cleaner. He did harder content, like check those boxes.
Yeah.
Shun is a good PCS skater, but not on the same level as Yuma. And so,
Yeah.
like, I think there's an argument to be made that, that the gap between them in PCS is not big enough because there's a cap on how high PCS can go. And that when you're a good top man, you start to hit the top of that. And so the margins get smaller. That said, with the amount
Yeah.
of mistakes that Yuma had, they can't give him the top PCS either. And so, like,
Yeah.
seeing that, back and forth. But I think for me, it feels like the difference between Shun is doing incredibly well this season. He's looking very consistent. He's looking very strong. His jumps look good. His programs are good, but nothing that he's doing has that, like, to me, like the magic and the spark. And so
Yeah.
I don't find his programs or his skating as like magnetic to watch as I do,
Hmm.
or even as exciting as I find a few of the more inconsistent men sometimes too. But
Yeah.
none of that takes away from the fact that I think that his quality is really, is so strong. It's but
Yeah.
yeah, I think, like, it's hard at this point to imagine that the Olympic team isn't going to be Yuma and Shun and then somebody else.
Yeah. Whoever doesn't flop. Whoever's healthy. Laura says, "Can we talk about the collective adopted a son, Adam?" We've been making a joke in our group chat, which you can join if you join our Patreon at the cheapest tier. That he has like aunties all over Europe, and we're all gonna be like Europeans cheering for him. He's gonna feel like he's back in Nepal Memorial.
He is doing so well. I feel like I've seen him,
Your first,
forever and ever and ever at this point. Like, I can't believe this is his first senior Grand Prix. But I did have this feeling watching the men here that, like, the next generation was starting to, like, poke their heads up here, thinking about um, seeing, so Adam for sure, but then Francois Pitot and Haru Kakiuchi, both, like, they all have that sort of feeling where you're like, yeah, you still, Adam less so now at this point, but the others, sort of have that feeling of like, you're still skating a little like a junior, like, but so enjoyable, so much potential. And so at, like, these like 19 and 20-year-olds, I was like, all right, I see you. This is gonna be like, you're gonna be the ones competing for the podium soon. Especially then when we had people like, I don't know if Lucas will keep going after this. I don't think he said for sure. We
no,
know
I
this
don't
is
think he has.
Mateo's last season, but, like, but you're looking at the guys who are, 26 and 27, and they're in a different, so I had a little bit of that feeling of like, oh, this is the, these are the generations that we're seeing, and the guys that we have been following for the last couple of quads, and then the guys that are coming in for the first time. And I don't know, it gave me kind of a nice
Yeah.
feeling thinking about, I mean, like I said before, I really enjoy Francois a lot. I've always enjoyed Adam. I don't love Adam's free. It feels kind of like a jump drill to me at this point. But I think that
A little
his
bit.
short is good. And so I'm excited to see Adam, continue to push himself a bit more in the performance category, because I know that he can really connect to the music and the
Yeah.
audience. We just don't always see it. And I'm really
Yeah. I think it's a
like
case of
Haru.
he just Yeah, I think it's just a case of Adam needs to get comfortable with having the quad in the program, and once he does that, then he'll
Yes.
start to make things more complex again, because he did that with his other programs that he kept for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
As he kept them, they kept getting more and more complex with transitions. The quad is like, it's there, he's landing it. It's still a little bit kind of squiffy, like when he's landing it,
Yeah.
but like even his triple axel started out that way. So he just, if he keeps running it, he'll get it.
Yeah, for sure. It's a shame that Haru Kakiuchi was injured here and wasn't able to show,
Mm.
more of what he's capable of, because we know that he does have quads, that he wasn't, and triple axle that he was not putting in here. But I really enjoy his skating a lot. I felt like
Yeah.
he has a lot of potential to be that well-rounded skater. So I was glad he got the opportunity here to, and hopefully, despite despite not being able to do the content and the placement and everything here, I think he did a good job of standing up to the challenge of doing the senior event and handled himself well. So hopefully it
Yeah.
will still keep him in reasonably good standing with the federation, that he'll get more opportunities.
And he just seems to have such an inherent joy of skating as well. It's like he seems like he's enjoying himself so much. It doesn't seem like a
Yeah.
chore like it does occasionally for some people.
Yeah, I like seeing more skaters coming out of that coaching environment, with Otaku. Her last name is escaping me, but she was Daisuke Takahashi's coach, and and I feel like often they have interesting skaters that come out of that environment.
Nagamitsu.
Thank you. Um, yeah.
Also good to see how well Boyang's done here. I didn't expect a lot
Mhm.
going into this Grand Prix season for him because obviously he missed a whole year again because of injury. He left the cricket club in Canada and went back to China. So I kind of thought, oh, he's been gone a while. I wonder if he'll still be injured. But he's really putting together some solid skates.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him. And yeah, no, I thought that was very strong. I was really feeling sorry for Matteo here, because he I want Matteo at the Olympics so badly.
I
That's
know.
like
I know.
it's one of the, like, it's so funny. I feel like I always liked Matteo, but I didn't feel that invested in his career really until a couple of years ago. And I feel like it's just sort of he's just one of those skaters that's just, gradually grown on me over time. But now I feel very invested in his
Yeah.
Olympic
I've
spot.
always loved Matteo. I just feel like it's almost like one step forward, two steps back. It feels like you're fighting a losing battle trying to get one of those spots. But at the same time, Nikolai's not been the most consistent skater either this season. So it's gonna be Daniel and somebody. So
I think if Matteo can get the quad, like if he can get this quad toe back and looking consistent, which I think is within his capability, is just
yeah,
he has just not been there yet. I think they will go with him for the sake of consistency, is my guess. But also, the Italians have criteria, so we'll have to see how it goes. But
maybe he just needs to go back to some old programs that were more comfortable for him. I know he's already changed his free to Interstellar, but that he had some really good programs in the past that were so good. And if it's going to be your final season, just pick whatever you're most comfortable with and just go for it.
I really like this short. I would be sad if he changed it. I think that it's a good vehicle for the kind of emotional performance that Matteo can give. Like he's not the
Yeah,
most like, I don't know, he's not the most like overly like demonstrative skater, but I feel like he has a great ability to connect to music in the crowd, and that like
yeah,
I want programs for him where he can do that, and I feel like this short is a good vehicle for him. It's got some interesting choreography. Like I would be sad if he ditched that to go back to an older program. The free skate doesn't feel very special to me, but maybe that's just because I've seen so many interstellar programs that
hmm
it doesn't have the same impact at this point.
yeah. It does feel that way.
But congratulations to Lucas, we should say,
Yes.
for getting his medal here. And, out of a somewhat messy group, being able to pull it together to just climb in the free here. I still have issues with this free skate, which we've talked about from the perspective of Orientalism. But I do like Lucas as a skater and a person, and I'm glad that he is that he's getting some success this season.
Yeah, agreed. It's sad regarding Jun because Jun is such a wonderful skater, but the boot issues are constant. It's literally constant. You might get one or two really good competitions out of him a season, and that will be it. It's just such a shame.
Yeah. I don't understand, but I've never understood exactly what it is that's why some skaters can't get boots that fit when they have the ability to get custom fittings and stuff, but it's not just June who's had these, like, this is, someday let's have a skate tech, come on and explain to us like why this actually happens and what why some skaters just cannot seem to find the right boots, but it really is a shame.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just that they don't fit him. I feel like I've heard somebody before. I don't know if it was June or not, who is like a half size, so things don't fit properly, and then they just, I guess, with the jump content he's doing, he just keeps breaking them. Like he goes through something like, I think he said before, he's gone to like 12 pairs of boots in a year or something. It's absolutely crazy. And every time he shows up to competition, there's just tape all over his boots. And you're like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, well, and that's rough because then you can switch to a boot that doesn't break down as quickly, but then the boots that don't break down as quickly have a longer breaking in period. And if you're already kind of, I don't know, does this boot work? Does this boot not work? Then do you want to have a long breaking in period where you're not sure if it's working? Like I can see the
yeah, because he's had a lot of ankle issues in the past, so I feel like maybe some of them rub, or maybe it just, I don't know, maybe different boots are too weak for him. I don't know what exactly the issues are.
I feel like we also need to mention Jimmy Ma's competition here. I'm all for it. Like, I kind of love the idea that Jimmy was like, well, I was going to do Turando, but if I'm not doing Turando, I'm going to do a Village People medley, and it's Raining Men.
I love the concept of him realizing he's at both of the Grand Prix that Yuma's at and going, well, I can't do Turando anymore. Let's change that.
And I'm really glad that we don't have techno remix Turando, which I feel like was
it's also a possibility. You never know what you're going to get with Jimmy.
He's having but like, honestly, he looks like he's having so much fun. I'm all for it. It's great. And I love that he was noting that it's a Rudy Galindo tribute. Like, I'm just like, yes, let's go. This is going to be very fun. And if, I hope Jimmy gets lots more opportunities to skate these programs this year. But if what we get is like a amazing Jimmy national send off, like with that program, that, truly would be an iconic way to, to wrap up the career that he's had, thinking about what he originally went viral for. And yeah. Lois is frozen.
I'm back.
Great. Yeah, so anyway, this was an interesting mix in terms of it being a little less, maybe fewer skaters with high technical elements here, and pretty messy, but nonetheless some really interesting people and programs. So I actually enjoyed this men's event despite it being messy.
Yeah. Guess we'll go on to the women.
So yeah, this is the event that I was falling asleep during the middle of, so I had a very strange perspective on all of these programs, but I think I did go back and watch the podium again later. But yes, anyway, sorry. We have Kaori Sakamoto winning gold, Sofia Samodelkina with silver, and Luna Hendricks with bronze.
It's a good podium. I just hate, I know they have to bring up that it's like Kaori's last this and Kaori's last that every time she shows up, and I'm just like, please stop trying to make me cry. It's like every time you say, this is Kaori's last Grand Prix, I'm like, please stop. I don't want her to leave me. She's not allowed to leave me. She's my favorite skater.
I know. I was having that. I was having the Wakaba feelings at this competition just because it's so tough to see her be injured and trying to do this. And I was just um Mark was giving the like tribute to her after the short program or after the free skate of like, this is the things we love about her and this is the things we'll remember her with. And I was like starting to cry. It was too much. But yeah, it was that that was hitting me because while I have confidence that I will get to see Kaori at international competitions this year and be able to, well, I guess I will see Wakaba in her second Grand Prix, but like I'm still like I'm having all of the emotions, and I feel like I'll get a great send off for Kaori in some format. But I really hope, like I'm still hoping against hope on the Wakaba thing. I still put her in my fantasy, even though I knew she was injured and I knew it wasn't a very likely outcome. I was like, I'm not giving up hope. I believe in you. But yes, I would love to see her have at least one great showing of these programs in the Wonder Woman free skate. I wasn't so sure about it at first, but I am really enjoying it now. And I'm just going to keep talking because we lost Lois for a second. But yes, I agree with Melissa in terms of enjoying Samadelkina and having Luna back. It feels like they're adding some nice things into the mix here. Um, Luna, I thought looked really good. I think she's on a great trajectory, so I would love to see. I'm hoping that this is start of a good build for her. But I think she's making a good case for herself as being, in this mix. She's got to have the consistency, but it'd be great. I saw a lot of people who don't like Luna's short program and the Celine Dion. I like it. I like that Luna's giving us one program that's a little bit more like emotional and one that's a little more take us to the club. So I'm all here for it, but it's different tastes, I guess.
Hi,
Lois, are
I'm
you
back.
back?
I
Hi.
am
What
back.
do you think about Luna's programs?
um, I feel like I need to rewatch them again because I was probably very tired. I do think it's interesting to have made the switch since Chinese Double Horn, away from like the club program into like the Celine Dion. But it does remind me of back. It does remind me of when she used to do like I think she used to do like It's All Coming Back to Me Now, when she first like had came back from her other injury. So it kind of reminded me of that. So I don't dislike that choice. I think that like Celine's a great person for Luna to skate to. I'm not entirely convinced by the free yet. I just don't think I love the vocal on it. Um, I think it will work, but it's just
Mm,
I just don't love it yet.
yeah. I've always had I've always felt like I like Luna. I enjoy her skating. It's never been the style that I most resonate with. And so I think I, you know, I appreciate that when I'm like a program that lets her show a little bit more of like she can be vulnerable as well as strong, like that's going to resonate with me on that kind of emotional level and more so than the programs that are just I'm fierce and I'm taking you to the club. Like as a matter of personal taste. But I like that she's sort of giving us like a little bit of a mix this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I assume Sophia's gonna pick up another spot now in Finland now that Nina Petrokina has withdrawn. Because it
Yes.
sounded like from her Golden Skate interview that Raf said she might pick up another spot. So obviously, if she did turn, assuming because she was top of the alternate list that she turned down some of the earlier events, they don't mind if you're turning that down because of injury,
Hmm.
um, as well as like obviously like visa reasons and stuff like that. But yeah, it sounds like we're probably going to have like 5 medalists in that battle at Finlandia, which is going to be crazy.
Yeah, it is. I And I've never seen Sophia skate live, so I'm actually really excited and interested to see how she looks seeing her live. Yeah. Any other women we want to talk about?
Yeah, I was gonna say Young did a great job to come back up to fourth
Yes.
place here. Like it was shaky in France, and obviously she hadn't competed in well over a year, but like she really brought herself back into contention for an Olympic spot, showing like because the Korean women have been inconsistent this year. Like I think everyone kind of assumed like Gia would just emerge and get a spot, and then assumed that Chaeyeon would obviously get the spot because she was the number one. But Chaeyeon's obviously been injured and not been very consistent, and Gia's not been very consistent, and Hayen's not been very consistent. But Young has suddenly come back and been more consistent. So
yeah, I
four-way
was
fight for two spots.
yeah. I was impressed with her here, definitely. I think she's really proving herself in this group. I also thought that Sarah is really growing on me, and her programs this year are really, and this free skate is really growing on me the more that I see it. So it's funny. I feel like the more that we're like, she's again, she's not having quite that consistency that she had, but I feel like her expression and like range of being able to skate to different things is improving. And so along with
Mm-hmm.
that, I'm starting to, to feel more connected to her and her skating. And so I would love to see it's hard because I'm not saying I don't think I want her over one of the other three that are more, that are in the front.
Yeah.
And I really hope that, she can continue to, grow and figure out all of the different pieces of her skating because I'm starting to get on board with the like, where is she going to be in a year or 2 years from now and what kind of great skater she could be at that point if she can put the whole package together. So like I'm kind of
Yeah.
I'm coming on board. I wasn't her biggest fan last year, but she's growing on me.
I think what impressed me the most was obviously last week was so hard, and obviously to then do that back to back with travel is not easy. But even when she fell, I think it was in the short program again, she looked angry afterwards. It like, and I loved to see that. It wasn't like disappointed. It was anger of, I know I can do this. I need to be
Yeah.
better at this. It like what I don't want is another Lindsay Thorngren of the judges smacking you down until you feel like you have no choice but to leave. Um,
Hmm.
I want her to come back fighting and bring herself back into conversations again.
I think she and Lindsay have very different personalities. And so I hope, yeah,
Yes,
I agree.
I think that's clear.
But which is not, again, not to but be a knock on Lindsay. I think the trajectory
No,
of her career
Lindsay
is
was
really
gorgeous as a
sad.
skater. It was
But
just,
yeah.
yeah, just the judges never went with her. But yeah.
And just gonna say I was disappointed for Yuna here. Again, I would have loved for her to have that clean program, but looking at the scores for the free skate here was another one of those things where it's like really fun to see where the judges put people across the ordinals because it was all over the place, and it was very funny to see
Yeah.
where people where the judges were willing to pop people up or not. But any judge that is like, I don't care, I'm putting Yuna like well above where everybody else is a judge that I'm like, I see you.
Yeah. What makes me really sad is with the Japanese women is timing. Like Mai Mihawa just missing out on the Olympic team last time and then having the most wonderful season in the Grand Prix and the Grand Prix
Yes.
final, and then just having to disappear off into obscurity again because injuries come back up again
Yeah.
and health problems. And Wagaba having the most incredible season last season and now being injured and probably not going to make the Japanese Olympic team, which is so heartbreaking. It's just sucks that, you know, it's every 4 years, and it's just the timing of when you can be healthy for that.
Sen Wakabota Worlds.
Please. Please. We can't have her career end at nationals. That would be awful.
No,
Or 4 continents or whatever. Just send her to Worlds, please.
My last comment on Sarah is I'm not sure who asked her this, but one of the social media things was somebody asked her if who she would skate with if she was going to do if she had to team up with another single skater, and she said Isabeau. And so I now have the vision of a Sarah and Isabeau pair team, and I don't know, you know, somebody putting together a show, like, please, I need to see this happen. I feel like they would be such like a fun, funny duet to have together. So that is now that image immediate, like, you know, I saw that and immediately like a whole program manifested in my brain.
Yeah. I'm proud of Asan for doing so well as to come 7th here after what a rough time she had last week. She did not have long to recover from that awful fall, 2 falls really. And I don't mean to exclude her from the fight for the Korean spots. I think she is on the outside looking in, but they do love their ranking competitions, and you never know how people are going to skate on the day. So she's not out of the equation.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree, Lara, about Elise.
Yeah.
She looks like she's in that like really hard place of like having her body change a little bit and having her like consistency be challenged, and whether she's able to have, you know, to be so boosted and then not, you know, like it feels like she's in a really like rough transitional moment. But I would love to see her be able to come out of that with you know, a second phase of her career, because I think she does have some really wonderful qualities as a skater. No. Okay, we are frozen. But as we are going to go through here. Okay.
I was like, please don't kick me out again.
Yeah. Any last thoughts on NHK?
I was going to say regarding Elise, I know it was said that apparently Amber had recommended a song for her to skate to for her short program or something, but that the US figure skating and her coaching team decided to keep last year's program. I'm like, I want to see something different from Elise. I don't want this constant like ice princess.
Yeah.
Kind of
agreed.
I want to know Elise. I want to get more of Elise's personality on the ice. But yeah.
And it feels like she's at precisely that point of a career where it's like you start to become, you know, more of an adult. You start to get more life experience away from skating. You start to, you know, figure out how to take the experiences that you're having in skating and maybe turn them into something that is a little bit more personal in the program. Not that everybody goes on that trajectory, but like it's something that I'm like, I could see with where she's, the trajectory that she's had so far. And I would love to, exactly see more of her on the ice.
Yeah. I guess we'll preview Skate America. With
I'm excited. I'm going
that we've had recently.
Yes. We're going to have a big team at Skate America and at Finland from AnythingGOE. We have 2 reporters there and a photographer at each of them. And so you'll get more mix zone stuff from us as we're
we've
going
been lacking on the mix zone so far. Yeah.
But I'm very
excited. This men's lineup feels like it's very chaotic.
Yes, yes, it is a very chaotic men's lineup, and I mean, but when are men's lineups not chaotic? Just, have to have to say that also,
I mean,
but
true.
I'm really excited to
I mean,
see
I guess
Corey here. We haven't seen him yet this season. I'm looking
yes,
forward to seeing his programs and the return of Pagliacci, which I really enjoyed when we saw him skate that in Sheffield.
yes. And obviously,
Um,
like we have Shadorov
yeah,
again, we have Grassel again, we have Jason Brown. So like, there's lots of different styles of skaters, and you never know kind of which way it's going to end up. But
Kevin, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
Kevin. I mean, coming off of a disappointing Skate Canada, but this time he is in America, and he always does well in America. So
let's see. Um, I think I my biggest skater that I'm rooting for here in a way is Kazuki, because
yeah,
I would love to see Kazuki have a good skate here and really start to put himself into that position for the third spot. It feels like this could be a really important competition for him
yeah.
for that perspective. And for Tetsuya Soboy as well, who I feel like we haven't been talking about as much, but if he is consistent, keeps sneaking his way into those international assignments for the consistency that he can have. So that's going to be, as always, those inter-Japanese battles are going to be an interesting one to watch. I also really hope that Dawei Dai is healthy, and I would love to see him skate a clean program here. I enjoy him a lot, but I've never seen him live, so that's somebody else that I'm kind of interested and excited to check out.
I missed all of that, so I have no idea what was said. But I'm back. I
Oh,
keep
I was
lagging
talking.
out.
Sorry,
It's so
and
bad.
I'm not looking at the screen, and I didn't realize it because I was looking at the roster while you disappeared. But yeah, no, I'm just saying I'm looking forward to seeing Dawei
Yes.
Dai. For
Yes.
the women, we've got an interesting battle here in, like, speaking of the Japanese and
Interesting.
Korean women's battles. We've got Wakaba, Rinka, and Hana
Yep.
for the Japanese women.
Obviously, there's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Cheon and Haein
We've got
for
Alyssa and
the
Gubernova,
Koreans.
so that'll be interesting.
Yep. Alyssa and Gubanova for sure. And then Laranaki Gutman, who I am very excited to see. Um, And then also
Yes.
Star Andrews and Josephine
Yes, I
Lee,
can
who we
answer
have
very
not
quickly.
seen
Not
yet.
very well.
Mhm. Um, no, I'm excited to see Star and Josephine. I really enjoyed Josephine last year, and I think it'll be fun to see a little more of her this year. I think, in that space of, she's not necessarily in that Olympic conversation at this point, but I hope that that means that maybe she has a little less pressure on her and might be able to deliver something good here.
I am having technical difficulties in which Anna is going a bit robot for me.
Oh no.
A little bit rough right now.
Well, let's just quickly go through pairs and dance. I think for the pairs, it's going to be the battle between Riku and Ryuichi and Anastasia and Luca. The Japanese and the Georgians are probably our 1-2. But then, like we were discussing, it'll be really interesting to see how Emily and Spencer do in terms of that American spot. Also, we have Val and Max. And if they can put themselves into that conversation here, they just have this one Grand Prix. So that will be it. But that will be interesting to see them. And then Olivia Flores and Luke Wang have not had the easiest of senior debuts, but it would be fun to see them do well here. And we've also got Annika and Robert, who I will never forget, are in fact former Skate America champions. So let's see if they can get their way onto a podium here.
Yeah. Obviously,
And
we've just
then
had
we,
Akapova Rekmanin of Armenia
yes,
just substituted in for Beccari Garise, who had to withdraw. They could pose a good threat to the middle of the teams. I'm not sure they're going to be fighting with Milakina Berilava and Mira Kihara, but they could be battling Hok Kunkel, Chan Hao, Plazas Fernandez.
indeed. Yeah, that will be interesting. And also with Matteo and Lucrezia out, that may be the, I'm not sure if that puts it into official category yet, but it's looking more and more likely that they're going to be out of the conversation for the Olympic team as well, which I'm very sorry for them, and also will be very
Yeah,
happy for Rebecca and Filippo to get to go. So that's, I guess, speaking of, super challenging fights to watch, um, but that, it's tough to see that happen because of injury.
yeah.
Dance, we've got
Yeah.
Madison and
Regarding
Evan.
dance, I'm very excited to finally get Phoebe and James Grand Prix debut.
Yeah, that will be very fun. We've got the Christina, Anthony, Marjorie, and Zach head-to-head battle again. So we can see if
Again.
if the Americans, if being in the U.S., makes it go the other way around this time. And then I'm interested to see the French teams here, because we've seen kind of some struggles from Evgenia Lobreva and Jeffrey Bissot, but I still think that they're likely to come in ahead of Lucy and Theo here. But it will be interesting to see how that stacks up with the three French teams here. I'm also very excited to see the Browns, because I really enjoyed, from the little clips we saw of them from the Lake Placid ice dance competition in the summer. I haven't seen them since. I think they have competed some challengers, but I wasn't able to watch those. And so, but I really enjoyed their Godfather free skate when I saw it on the bad little film that somebody put up. So I'm interested to see that in person, and how that looks. But my biggest hope for Skate America is that between the flight attendants and the snowstorm that is happening in Lake Placid on Thursday, that everybody manages to arrive safely. We don't have any last minute withdrawals. Please, everybody be careful. And if you,
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, hope if anybody watching is going to be at Skate America or Finland, and you see me, say hi. I'll be around, mostly in the mix zone, but not entirely in the mix zone at this competition, because I'm very excited, because we have 2 reporters and we can trade off, and that's going to be great.
Okay. We will now get into fancy skating, which usually, obviously, Ellie would host, but as Ellie is busy with her work today, I will be covering it. Our favorite names of the week are You Wouldn't Vogue to Depeche Mode, She Is Worth Nothing, Ice Dancer, and Japanese Men Held Together with Scotch Tape and Dreams. All very appropriate. Apparently, men was like the category to be this week. A bunch of people got this correct. So, very much congratulations to all of the people who managed that. There's a lot of you.
Wow.
Pages and pages
Impressive.
of you. I don't. It's random that men would be the category that people would get the most right. Usually it's pairs. There's much less in women. I think there's literally just that page of people who got women correct.
Also, shout out to Midori Ito Goat, which feels very appropriate this week since we had the Midori Ito.
It's very appropriate.
Also, we have Fumi Seguri shout out in here too. I appreciate the we've got some good legacy Japanese women winning this event, which seems very appropriate.
And then we have pairs, which people always usually. Well, actually, I would say people usually do well at. Obviously, any of us who picked the Kovalevs are in very far down on the list of scores this week, which it was really going to hurt a lot of us. Because at least if somebody withdraws after the short program, you still get their short program score. But if you withdraw in the middle of the short program, you get nothing.
Nope. Sorry, guys.
Painful. And then we have ice dance, which I don't think is as many. Wakaba will win the Olympics. I wish that was going to come true for you, but it is not.
I will say that we are now 4 events in, and I have yet to win a single category at any event so far. So
I don't know if I have either. If I have, it's very few. I've done very badly this year, probably as badly as I did last year. I used to be competitive before that. I've got worse.
I insisted on keeping Wakaba in my top, despite knowing it was a bad choice. So I have only myself to blame.
And then we have, I love this name so much, AI generated ISU post, because it's very fitting. And bring back the waltz, we all agree. Mark Canaretti's pointy toes, also a great name.
I love that 3 of the top 4 of this are Yuma comments, given that this is the women's event, but yes.
But that's the women's category, it's funny.
Yeah.
Congratulations to woke leftist Ethan for being second. And Laura Shaki Goatman on that list as well.
Also appropriate that smokers' rights advocates is winning ice dance.
Yes. I also love that feeling underrated as a woman in our society isn't there. So many good names this year. And overall, so far, the winner is Kamiro's BFF Nika Igate.
Also,
and of course,
yes,
thank you to
Adam
Reisinger again for being our producer. That is our highest paid tier and gets a special shout out on the stream.
And also, I see Jonathan's comment about Arlette Lavandy at Volvo Open. Yes, that is interesting. The Arlette
I did not see that he
with the
landed 2
quads is very impressive. Yeah.
I saw that he won. I don't think I looked at the protocols of that event. That is impressive considering he only just got his triple axel last season.
And for anybody else watching the Latvian Olympic spot, saga, Kirill Korchak did get his Olympic minimums here, at here being Volvo Open, which now means that Latvia has a second man with citizenship with minimums if Fadir doesn't get his citizenship in time.
Yes, definitely shout out to Gabby Delman this week as well for winning her first competition back internationally. Definitely putting herself into the mix for the Olympics.
Oh, that's great. All right. Well, thank you so much for everybody who came and hung out with us. We will have, I think we can announce that our guest next week is going to be Gabby Papadakis. So we're very excited about that. We're going to be a day later. We're going to be doing Tuesday because she and I and lots of us are going to be traveling on Monday after Skate America, which ends kind of late Sunday. But we're very excited. Oh yes, also thank you. We saw that Max Naumov also had an amazing short program this weekend. So continuing to keep himself in that conversation. But yeah, we've got a whole bunch of guests scheduled for our upcoming weeks, and we're very excited for the rest of our streams.
Yeah, we should have some more content out this week as well. We have a new A to Z that is nearly ready, in the process, getting ready. And we should have another article out soon as well from Anna.
And if anyone, who's still watching at this point, but if anybody is going to Skate America and wants to help me with a little project to show support for trans skaters in the US after the most recent ruling from US figure skating that is restricting competition for them, I'm working on a little project at Skate America. So feel free to send me a DM or get in touch through AnythingGOEs, and I can loop you in if you or anyone you know is going.
Amazing. Yeah, we will see you all soon, whether it be at competition or just on the live stream or on the Patreon. So yeah, that's the end of our stream for this week. Bye everyone. Bye.